I'm gonna walk you through opening up your Paint-A-Long box. So please watch this video so you know beforehand what you need at home versus what I'm gonna provide. Sometimes the boxes may vary just a bit depending on the lesson that'll be provided and how can I purchase this and how many can I buy at once and I still get a discount. So stay tuned to find out what is gonna be in your box. Okay guys, so I'm going to show you what is included and then kind of go over what you will need. Again, this box does not include, it includes more than you are going to get because again, there'll be a canvas and then there'll be a watercolor paper. So I've kind of put it all together just so you can see. Your box will be like this. If you choose pickup, then it'll be just like this and it'll be in our drop box at our house. If you do choose shipping, it will be in a bag, but this box will be in there. So we'll open it up and you're gonna have, first thing you see is our supplies, a paint palette, and then again it won't be the water, paper, and the canvas, it'll be one or the other. So again, this is just for purposes of explaining what you'll need. So again, whatever your, it will be whichever one you choose, one of those will be in there. And then we have our paint palette. It's a disposable piece of paper and I've cut it down just to make sure that it fits in the box. And then you'll have your tools. Again, depending on what box, some items may not be in there. So every item or every box will have these two brushes. And this is my green brush, so ignore all the paint. You will have, this is the Nickel Lang round brush, and these are actually brushes that I use within my own classroom. They hold up pretty well. I mean, this one's about 5 or 6 years old, or maybe 10. It's pretty old, and it's still in good shape. And I know in my classroom I teach the kids about paintbrush procedures, and there's parts to it. And this gold area I actually call the danger zone to my kids, just because if you get your hands closer here, you're going to get paint on your fingers and you'll more likely get to touch the hair. And our goal is to keep our fingers off the hair, just to keep it, you know, looking good, because as we call this tippy, our paintbrush wants to have a good hairdo. And if you have your fingers all over the hair, it tends to, the oils in our hands ruin the brush hairs. So we try to keep our fingers more up on the gripper and the green part. There's not a right, wrong. I mean, I kind of hold my brush at this times and sometimes I hold it here. It really just depends what your child feels comfortable with doing. But we do try to stay away from the danger zone so our fingers don't get very dirty and the hairs don't get messed up. But this is a great paintbrush. Again, I use them in my classroom and they just hold up really well. Foam brush. The reason I'm giving the foam brush is because to paint the majority of the paper, it's a lot of painting, and because I wanted to choose a smaller brush for the details, I didn't want to have a bunch of brushes that you'd have to purchase. These are disposable, so when you get this brush, this is just for the background layer, and then you can toss it because these don't wash off well. You don't want to put this in the water cup and then wash it off. So again, the reason I put the foam brush is just to have, you know, to take the price point down so you don't have to spend as much money for paintbrushes. Things that may or may not be in your box, depending on what box you purchase. Chalk or Sharpie. I know on one of the summer series, I do use a Sharpie, and I do recommend it when the child signs their name. So you may want to have a Sharpie on hand, and they do tend to, you know, not be as fresh on the point when kids get them. So I know one of the summer series you will be getting the Sharpie because it is used within the painting, but it is a great tool to have on hand for their child to sign their name. Chalk. I will be using chalk in most of the videos because it is a great tool to draw out the shapes, but if your child messes up and they don't like what they drew, a damp paper towel will quickly wipe the lines away. So chalk is always great, but again, that will be provided in every box. It may be a small piece like that because they do tend to get lost and I don't want to waste a bunch of chalk. Now these are empty, obviously, because this is just for explaining this. Your paint is going to come in different variety of containers. Most likely anything that we're using a small amount will be these little pop top containers, because I know I don't want to waste, you know, your time giving you a bunch of paint that you may not need. And the background color may come in one of the bigger containers just because I don't want to not provide you enough, because I know when you're using the canvas, you need to paint all the sides of your canvas. So the background color, which is the most we'll be using, will come in a bigger container and separate. And I've tried to find ones that don't leak or spill, but those also may have your paint. Things you don't have in your box that you may want to have on hand. Solo cups or any kind of cup. It doesn't have to be disposable cup. You can use a house cup. But I found these little tiny solo cups are perfect for kids, and you don't want to put too much water in them because I will warn you, they will spill this. In my classroom, I actually keep the water in a dog bowl. Yes, in a dog bowl, because it has a better foot on the table and the children don't tend to spill it. But if you don't have a dog bowl or a cat bowl, it doesn't have to be an animal bowl to put the water in, then any kind of cup will help. But again, I would not fill it maybe, you know, a quarter, halfway, because if it spills and it gets on their paper, then it will ruin it. And that does happen quite often. Another thing you will need from home, possibly a pencil. Oh, I don't have the eraser on this one, but they will have chalk, but if your child feels more comfortable using a pencil on the paper, it doesn't really work on the canvas, but on the paper, I do use that in my video. And then last but not least, obviously, any type of paper towel. You know, disposable is an option, or you can use a rag that you have in your house and just reuse it. So again, the cup, the paper towel, and the pencil will not be in your box. Those things you will have at home, but the other items I will give you. So I hope this helps you kind of walk you through what you're going to get, what to expect, and please let me know if you have any questions.